Hey everybody, welcome to the 1804 Show, Chapter 2. I'm your host, Dollar Will, and this is episode 208. And before I do, subscribe to the channel, 1804 Show, Chapter 2 on YouTube. Make sure y'all hit that like button. Make sure y'all show me some love. I'm trying to get to 400. But yeah, I had discussed a lot of things from last night. So I wanted to, break this down into some parts. So I choosing to do like 4 parts to this topic and everything. A lot of it is going to be in the book. A book that I'm almost finished with. It's about to be completed. I had a chance to write like 20 pages today. Just fire. But, to be honest with y'all, man, this just has been therapy for myself. And, like I said, I always tell my story, always tell my origin, always tell what made me start this platform. But I never really elaborate or give details to everything that happened. I don't like to, drop names and incriminate people and stuff like that. I always say, in every episode that I've done, that these people know who they are and I did what they did. But I just want to just give I won't say brief, but I want to give a little indication of just, trusting the wrong people, expecting people to have your back like you had theirs. There's no such thing as loyalty. Everyone has their own definition. People only around you when it's convenient for them, if they can get something out of you. And I'm just grateful for what I learned along the way and the road that it took me down. And I just never really try to act like I'm such a victim, because I'm not a victim. I always looked at myself as a survivor. And I was just grateful for the learning experiences along the way. But, yeah. Halloween 2015 was a life-changing event for myself. You can have just one particular day that you plan. You have it all set. You have everything ready and prepared. And it end up being the worst day of your life. It'd be one of those days that you will never forget, that you would take with you forever. And I would say I didn't plan on what I was going to receive that afternoon. It was a huge bombshell that dropped. You know what I'm saying? It's just that morning, I go from being the youngest child to the only son, to my mama's only son. I'm still the oldest son. Well, I'm like the only son from my mama's side, but I have a little brother too. I have a half brother. But to be the only son to your mother's kid, it just was one of those things that I wasn't prepared for. Really rocked my world, rocked my mind. And I can tell you that I wasn't prepared for what I was going to do. You know, like when you have to be, you know, strong for your mom, but at the same time you tearing apart and the inside, man, I tell you, I was scared. I was afraid to step up to the plate because when you're the youngest of three, we have older siblings your entire life, you know what I'm saying, gotta carry the weight and step up to the plate, you know what I'm saying, you get comfortable. You get to the point where you don't feel like it's necessary for you to do anything and be that stronghold, be that glue in the family. And I had to be the glue. And it was really tough. It was really hard for me. And at that time, while staying with my parents, I was the only one working. I was the only one that had a, you know, pretty much steady income. I was the breadwinner. So really, like, nobody cared about my mental health, my feelings. It was all about survival. It was all about, you know, life goes on. These bills still gotta be paid and stuff like that. So you can either be sad or we gonna be homeless. We gonna be without lights. We gonna be without food, groceries and stuff. So I suggest you figure out a way to deal with your problems and deal with your feelings and stuff like that. So it was just one of those things that it was painful. It's just a lot of people don't realize what you go home to. You know what I'm saying? I had to deal with a grieving father. I had to deal with a grieving mother. I was grieving. Just coming home. And I ain't trying to throw my mom under the bus or anything like that. I love my mom. She one of the strongest people I know. But mom, this is how I always felt. This is what I never got the chance to really talk to you about. But it was just, at that time, mama, I was in pain. I was hurt. And I just wanted a hug. Because I never experienced such turmoil and so much pain. I felt so empty inside. And I just needed that reassurance that everything was going to be okay. You know, I understand that everything's okay now, you know what I'm saying, 7 years later, but at that time, you know, your son was lost. I was broken. I was weak. I ain't never felt so beaten before. And it just was like a lot of my friends, man. You know, I remember who came to the house when everything was fresh and took me out the house, forced me out the house. Damn mosquitoes. You know, I remember everybody who showed up. And I remember everybody who, you know, turned away. And then expect me to be back to normal after that. And and I didn't know what normal was. You know, I didn't know what to go back home to. I didn't realize what was going on, what the next day was going to be like, what the next week was going to be like, what was the next month was going to be like, what was the next year was going to be like. You know, all I know is that it was over. Like the life that I knew prior, it was over. I didn't have nothing to live for. And I tell people this all the time, like, a lot of people love to mention the fact that me and my brother wasn't talking. We weren't on speaking terms. before he passed away, and a lot of people said cruel things and said evil things. Like I didn't love him, like I didn't care about him, but I loved my brother. My brother was my first best friend. He was my hero. Before I even had friends outside the house, I had my brother. Like we played video games together. We shared rooms together. We had a lot of time we spent together. But it just, things happen. When you get older and stuff like that, and you don't want to be treated like that little kid anymore, or that baby brother no more, you becoming a man. You got to demand your respect. You got to demand to be treated with respect. Ain't nobody gonna little kid you forever. You know what I'm saying? So we had said some things. We said some things. I said some things that I didn't mean, but my ego wouldn't let up. I was a young man at the time. I was 27 years old. So I said a lot of things that I shouldn't have said, but that's how I felt at the time. If I would have known if you would have died a couple hours later, I would have not said those things. I would have just use my words. I would have just said, you know what, bro, ain't we not serious, man. I love you, man. I'm out. But then he died 2 hours later. And to this day, I still feel so bad. I have regrets about what happened, and regrets that I didn't get a chance to say goodbye. I didn't get a chance to tell him how much I loved him and how much he was such a blessing in my life. But I realized God don't make no mistakes. And, he was suffering and God, took him out of his misery, called him home. God brought his child to him, you know what I'm saying? And I have I had to live with so much for a long time, I'm sorry, y'all. I didn't mean to start. But if I can't be honest anywhere else, I want to be honest with my own platform, because I just think that we don't be deep as much. We don't have these type of platforms where people open up enough, you know what I'm saying? And I'm being really honest right now. And just to say that to see, your hero, the person that you thought that was so strong and so invincible. Because my brother was strong. My brother was like one of the strongest men I knew. And I'm grateful that he never put his hands on me. He never punched me. He never took me to the ground. He never, he never hurt me or nothing like that, because he knew that he could kill me. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just grateful that he never put his hands on me. And just to know that he felt like he was at his lowest, and that he was alone and felt like he didn't have nobody. And then it's just to see like the strongest person it's just dead, and you see him in his casket, you know what I'm saying? And there's nothing that you can do to fix it. I will never forget that. And that's why I grind. That's why I try to be who I am. And I try to be like a positive role model to people, man, because that changed my life. That changed me forever. I was never the same again. And it was just like tough to sleep. It was tough to eat, to think, and to move, and to walk. And it just was like a lot of people just turned their back on me, man. You know, people that I love, people that I trusted, you know, just turned on me because they feel like I wasn't their friend no more, and that I wasn't the same will anymore. But that rocked my entire world, you know. Like, we was all young. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to cope with so much. And it was so hard, like, because all my siblings left. All my siblings disappeared. And it was just me. And I was grateful for having, like, the people that stuck around. You know, we got closer. But it was like a lot of people that meant so much to me left me to rot in my misery. And I just couldn't understand it because I was a good person. I have always been a good person. You know, there's no perfect human being in this surface that we walk. But I just always been a good person. And people made it seem like it was a crime to miss my brother. And then all the phone calls stopped. All the visits stopped. And people sent me the voicemail. People turned their back on me. So, shit, I went to the bottle. I went to the liquor, the alcohol, the weed, the blacks, the cigarettes, all that. That's all I could do was cope, because it was like when I would like go to work and everything, you know, people probably thought I was acting funny, but I was in my head. I was in my head a lot because I didn't know how to function. I didn't sleep like that. And I started having nightmares. I started to have recurrent dreams about me still being at the funeral home, and it was just crazy. It was just unexpected. And then when you 6'5", over 300 pounds, people look at you like you ain't supposed to fear nothing. Like you ain't supposed to be afraid of nothing. And I was afraid. I was afraid to go on with my life without my brother. And then 6 months later, my grandmother dies. My mom's mother dies. And then I really felt the agony. I really felt the anguish. I really felt the pain. And then again, people telling me, you need to be there for your mom. You need to... And I'm like, look, I don't know how much I can take. I'm not even over my brother. Now I got to do this with my grandmother. So it was just like one of those things where like just people dying back to back. And it was so tough. It was so hard. And just all this started just with my brother, man. Halloween 2015. Then my grandmother, May of 2016. And then June 2017, my stepfather died. My man who raised me, man. And I really felt so hurt. You know, I was just like, damn, I'm the last one left from my childhood, from the males. And how do I keep going? Because I really ended my relationship because my girlfriend at the time didn't know how to be there for a nigga and shit. Just saying I was just being unreasonable. I was being selfish because I shut down after that. That shut me down because I didn't see my father anymore. So that really kind of took a huge toll on me. And then November 2018, I lose my dad's mother, my last grandparent. Didn't even get no phone call that she was in the hospital. Didn't even know that she was sick until she died. But it's just funny how people say we family and that we love each other and this and that, but you know what I'm saying? I was one of her favorite grandkids, you know what I'm saying? I used to stay with her. And I couldn't even get a phone call that my grandmother was in the hospital, that she was on her deathbed, basically. And it was tough. And then almost a year later in the same month, 2019, I lost my cousin Chuck. When I lost my cousin Chuck, man, it was tough. It was hard. Then November 2020, lost my cousin Eric. And then a few months ago, just lost my auntie Frances, man. But in the midst of all those deaths, man, that I experienced and that I went through, it just, everybody, you know, just quit checking on everybody and just pretty much went on their separate ways. But I ain't gonna get into the friends part yet. I'm just pretty much, you know what I'm saying, giving everybody just a rundown on just my feelings and what was in my head at the time. But I was just really exhausted. At this point, I was just so broken at this point. But yeah, it just, you know, nowadays it's just nobody really asks us as black men how we feel, what we went through, are we okay, and this and that. They just assume because of the fact that, you know, we getting money, we rocking the nice outfits and shoes and got influence and popularity and this and that. But nobody really asks us, are we okay? Is there anything they can do? Like, I hear you, bro. I'm there for you, bro. So I experienced a lot of betrayal. You know, I experienced a lot of people did me dirty. A lot of people lied on me. A lot of people started smear campaigns on me. You know, I seen people who was sleeping on my couch, sleeping like peacefully in my home. You know, would come over my house and eat, come over my house and use my electricity, come over my house to use my Wi-Fi, all types of shit, you know? And I did that out of love, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm not no materialistic person. If anything, if I love you, what's mine is yours. Because I came from nothing. I came from the mud. I came from being homeless. I came from sleeping in basements. I came from sleeping in cars. I came from sleeping on park benches. You know what I'm saying? Like my early 20s on up. I didn't have shit. I didn't have nothing. You know what I'm saying? I worked for everything that I got now. You know what I'm saying? I lost everything months ago. But thank God, you know, by strangers and prayer and not giving up on myself, that I had a Christmas miracle when everybody donated for me to get some new furniture. Because I had to get rid of everything that I had before. You know what I'm saying? I'm still paying rent a center from my old furniture. You know what I'm saying? But I really came up. And the show and stuff like that, it was my redemption. It was real. It was the only way that I could get myself back. I could get my insanity back. You know what I'm saying? Get my manhood back. Because so many people try to strip it from me. Try to rip it out my body. And I'm just grateful that I'm still here, that I'm still standing. You know, a lot of people did me wrong, and I did wrong sometimes. But regardless of what people say about me, like, walk in my shoes, you will see why I'm so mad. You will see why I walk past sometimes and don't want to speak. Because it's hard to trust anybody. Shit, I have people with the same DNA, the same last name, the same bloodline as me cross me. I've seen things that you never saw. But I'm still standing. I have hit rock bottom. I had hit, like, my last. I know pain. All I want is peace now. All I want is just respect now. And I gain my respect. With the respect that I have so far, I have regained that and then some. Because I couldn't allow those people to laugh and criticize, but like, oh, that nigga took his life. That nigga shot himself. Oh, weak ass nigga and shit. You know how motherfuckers do you and shit? Because anybody can help, but nobody helps until it's too late. I was so close to blowing my brains out one night. You know, I had a gun. You know what I'm saying? I had a weapon. But then, you know what I'm saying? I just realized, like, you know, I got to make sure my nieces and nephews. This was before my nephew was born, but I got to make sure my niece is straight. They already lost one uncle. I can't make them lose another uncle. And then when my nephew Jakai was born, that's when I knew that I had to stay here. I had to get out of this head thing, this depression shit. I had to get out of it. Because I ain't never had a boy. Had a baby boy in the family. And so I had to make sure that he knew his uncle. He knew who I was. Because he never knew who our brother was. So I had to make sure he knew who I was. And that was the only way that I snapped out of it. It was in the beginning stages of me getting myself back together. And then also another thing, I was just very promiscuous during those years, and a lot of people think because I slept with a lot of women, a lot of girls, and this and that, they just thought I was just being a thot or being a hoe or whatever. But that was like my medicine. You know what I'm saying? That was my antidote. That was my coping mechanism. It was a bad coping mechanism, but it was my way of getting that fix, that feel good, you know what I'm saying? Because my life was just in shambles at that time. You know, like, I'm not ashamed of nothing. I'm not ashamed of what happened. I'm not ashamed of what took place. If anything, it made me a stronger man. You know what I'm saying? All that was 7 years ago. Now I'm 34 years old, about to be 35. And I tell people this all the time. One thing about life is it will surprise you. It will sneak up on you. Shit will happen without your knowledge, without you preparing for it. So what you gonna do? Judge the next person who made mistakes? Like, you don't know what be going on inside the inner layer. All y'all know is the outer layer. What you know about me is what I allowed you to see. What you know about me is what I allow for anybody to read or post or whatever. I'm not no charity case. Never was. Never will be. If anything, I'm a sacrificial lamb to give somebody else a chance to come forward or get an opportunity to tell their story. Because we all have a story. We all have a thing or an event or a mishap that took us down a certain path in our lives. And my thing was, I had to be my mama's only son. I had to step up. I had to grow up. I had to mature. I couldn't do those childish shit or those childish things anymore. I couldn't go to the clubs every weekend. I couldn't go to the bars. I couldn't spend my money on bullshit no more. Because if I'm going to die today, at least I'm going to die with something. And just to, have my brother, die broke, die with nothing. He was like one of the flyest niggas that I knew. Always had the new Jordans, always had the new clothes, the cologne, everything. Died with nothing, died broke. So that motivates me, that gets me pushing. That gets me to at least try, at least fight, you know what I'm saying? So if anything, I want to be an example to somebody, especially to these kids out here, man, because you're not alone. You're not by yourself. You're not too damaged, or it's not too late for you to make a change, to make a commitment. And oh yeah, it's going to be hard. But nothing comes easy to anybody who wants something, who wants more out of life. And I knew I wanted more. So I'm thank God for the people that stabbed me in the back, that crossed me, that showed me that they weren't for me and everything like that. And I bossed the fuck up. And I'm not apologizing for shit. If anybody be offended or have a problem with what I say, then you could have, intervened. You could have said something. You could have helped. But I'm not apologizing for who I became, or especially when who I'm becoming now. Because I feel like I'm at my peak. I feel like I'm at my best. Even at my worst, I'm at my best. Because if anything, I'm just reflecting. I'm not throwing nobody under the bus. I'm not trying to make anybody out to be the bad guy or the villain. If anything, I'm holding people accountable for what they done. And it's up to you if you want to apologize and whatever. It's up to you. I don't expect no apology. If anything, I just enjoy for people to see that I didn't give up, I didn't end it all, I didn't blow my brains out, none of that. If anything, I found my redemption. I found peace. I made peace with everything. And just because I make peace doesn't mean that it doesn't hurt. It still hurts. You know, grief lasts forever. I may not cry this day or the next day, but I'm going to cry eventually, because it's a thing that don't leave anybody, you know. It's just something you deal with on a daily basis. But shit, I'm proud of William. You know what I'm saying? I show William every day. I'm better than I was during that rough few years. You know, I have so much love for myself, and I'm comfortable, I'm confident, and I don't let anybody's opinions derail me, because they don't know what I survived. And I survived so much. I survived a snake pit, crocodiles in the water, sharks in the tank, everything. Flames, everything. I survived it. And I'm still standing. I'm still here. I can still walk. I can still see. I can still taste. I can still hear. You know what I'm saying? I didn't lose none of my senses. I came to my senses. So, if anything, the betrayal was a blessing. And it still is a blessing. And I'm going to still be here until my number's up. But yeah, just want to say thank everybody for watching tonight. I really appreciate everybody who's been supporting me, everybody who's been rocking with me, everybody who have the real unconditional love for me. And just keep on rolling with me. We got a whole lot of episodes coming up. We have a lot of people coming on to the platform. And I just want to say I appreciate y'all. You guys are the ones who make this absolute platform grow. And y'all make it happen. But yeah, I'm out, y'all. Peace.